You know, there's something I hear from so many folks over 60, something that might sound familiar to you too. It's that moment when you're standing up from your favorite chair, or maybe stepping off a curb, and suddenly, you feel just a little unsteady. Maybe you catch yourself on the armrest, or reach for the wall to steady yourself. And if you've ever thought, I never used to feel this way, what's changed? Well, you're not alone. The truth is, 95% of older adults experience a loss of balance at some point, and most of the time, it's not just getting older that's to blame. It's often little, everyday habits, things we don't even realize we're doing, that quietly chip away at our stability. But here's the good news. Once you know what these mistakes are, they're easy to avoid. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, I want you to imagine something with me. Picture yourself moving through your day with confidence. No hesitation when you stand up, no nervousness on the stairs, just steady, easy movement. That's not just a dream, it's completely possible when you make a few simple adjustments. So let's dive into the first few mistakes that might be affecting your balance, and more importantly, how to fix them. Mistake number 1, skipping strength training, without even realizing it. I know what you might be thinking. Strength training? That's for young people at the gym. But here's the thing, strength training isn't just about lifting heavy weights or bulking up. It's about keeping the muscles that support your balance strong and active. And if you're like most people, you might not even realize you've stopped strength training. Think about it. When was the last time you carried a full bag of groceries from the car to the kitchen? Or lifted yourself up from a low chair without using your arms? These little movements are natural strength exercises, but as we get older, we tend to avoid them without even noticing. We ask for help with heavy items, we choose higher chairs, we take the elevator instead of the stairs. All understandable choices, but over time, they add up. The fix? Start small. Try sitting down and standing up from a chair without using your hands a few times a day. Hold on to something if you need to at first, but challenge yourself to rely less on your arms and more on your legs. And if you're up for it, a set of light dumbbells or even resistance bands can work wonders. Just a few minutes a day can make a world of difference in keeping those stabilizing muscles strong. Mistake number 2, not paying attention to your feet. Our feet are the foundation of our balance, but how often do we really think about them? If you've been wearing the same slippers or shoes for years, or if you've noticed your toes feeling stiff or cramped, this could be quietly throwing off your stability. Many older adults make the mistake of wearing shoes that are too loose, too soft, or don't provide enough support, like worn-out slippers or flimsy sandals. These might feel comfortable at first, but they don't give your feet the structure they need to keep you steady. And let's not forget about how we walk. If you've started shuffling your feet instead of lifting them, that's a recipe for tripping. Here's what to do instead. First, take a look at your shoes. A good pair should have a firm sole, not too floppy, a snug but not tight fit, and a little bit of grip on the bottom. If you're not sure, a visit to a shoe store that specializes in comfort footwear can help. And when you walk, try to be mindful of lifting your feet slightly with each step. No shuffling. It might feel strange at first, but it'll quickly become second nature. Now, before we move on to the next few mistakes, I want you to take a moment and think about these first 2. Maybe you've caught yourself doing one of them without realizing it, and that's okay. The key is awareness. Because once you know what to look for, you can start making small changes that'll have a big impact on how steady you feel every day. And speaking of small changes, let's talk about the next mistake, one that's so common, most people don't even realize it's affecting their balance. Mistake number 3, relying too much on vision and ignoring your other senses. Isn't it funny how we take our balance for granted, until it feels a little off? Here's something you might not realize. Your balance isn't just about your feet or legs. It's a whole body system, and one of the biggest players is your inner ear. But as we get older, many of us start relying too much on our eyes to stay steady, and that can actually make things worse. Think about it. When you walk through a dark room, do you slow down or reach for the wall? Or if you close your eyes while washing your face in the shower, do you feel just a tiny bit unsteady? That's because your body is used to depending on your vision to stay upright. But here's the problem. When you lean too heavily on your eyes, your other balance systems, like your inner ear and the nerves in your feet, don't get the practice they need to stay sharp. So, what's the fix? It's simple. Start training your other senses to pitch in. Try this easy exercise, safely of course. While holding onto a counter or sturdy chair, stand on one foot for a few seconds, just lift your other foot slightly off the ground. Then, if you're feeling steady, try closing your eyes for a second or two. It might feel wobbly at first, but that's okay. You're giving your inner ear and your body's natural balance system a little workout. Do this for just a minute or two a day, and over time, you'll notice a big difference in how confident you feel on your feet. Mistake number 4, avoiding movement because you're afraid of falling. This one's a bit of a vicious cycle. You feel a little unsteady, so you move less to avoid falling. But then, because you're moving less, your muscles get weaker, your balance gets worse, and, you guessed it, you feel even more unsteady. It's a trap so many older adults fall into without even realizing it. Now, I'm not saying you should throw caution to the wind. But the right kind of movement, gentle, controlled, and consistent, is one of the best ways to improve your balance and prevent falls. Things like Tai Chi, water aerobics, or even just a short daily walk can work wonders. The key is to keep moving in ways that feel safe but still challenge you just a little. If you've been holding back because you're nervous, start small. Walk around your living room while holding onto furniture if you need to. Practice shifting your weight from one foot to the other while standing at the kitchen counter. The more you move, safely and mindfully, the stronger and steadier you'll feel. Now, we've covered some of the biggest mistakes that can sneak up on us as we get older. But there's one more that's just as important, and it's something most people never even think about. It has to do with a simple daily habit that might be quietly sabotaging your balance without you realizing it. But we'll save that for next time. For now, why not try one of the tips we've talked about today? Maybe test your shoes to see if they're giving you the support you need, or try that one-foot balance exercise while holding on to something sturdy. Small steps lead to big changes, and before you know it, you'll be moving through your day with more confidence than ever. So go ahead, give it a try, and when you're ready, we'll dive into that last big mistake, and how to fix it for good. You know, when we talk about balance, most people think about their legs or their feet, and sure, those are important. But there's something else that plays a huge role in keeping you steady, and it's probably not what you'd expect. Mistake number 5, letting your posture slide, literally. Have you ever caught yourself slouching in your favorite chair or leaning forward when you walk? Maybe you've even noticed your shoulders rounding a bit more than they used to. It happens to all of us over time, but here's the thing, poor posture doesn't just affect how you look. It throws off your entire center of gravity, making you more likely to lose your balance. Think of your body like a stack of blocks. When everything's lined up just right, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, you're stable. But when your head juts forward or your shoulders slump, it's like tilting that stack of blocks. Suddenly, you're working against gravity instead of with it. The fix? Start paying attention to how you hold yourself throughout the day. When you're sitting, imagine a string pulling gently up from the top of your head. When you walk, try to keep your chin level, not tucked or lifted, and let your arms swing naturally. It might feel strange at first if you've developed habits over the years, but good posture quickly becomes second nature with a little practice. Here's a simple exercise. Stand with your back against a wall, heels about 2 inches from the wall. Your buttocks, shoulders, and the back of your head should all lightly touch the wall. If there's a big gap between your neck and the wall, that's a sign your head is drifting forward. Try to hold this position for 30 seconds a few times a day. It's like a reset button for your posture. Mistake number 6, not drinking enough water. Now, this one might surprise you. What does hydration have to do with balance? More than you might think. Even mild dehydration can cause dizziness or lightheadedness, especially when you stand up quickly. And when you're dehydrated, your blood pressure can drop suddenly. That's called orthostatic hypotension, making you feel woozy or unsteady. Many older adults don't drink enough water because thirst signals weaken with age. They're trying to avoid frequent bathroom trips. They simply forget. But here's the trick: you don't need to guzzle gallons. Just keep a small glass or bottle handy and sip throughout the day. If you struggle with nighttime bathroom trips, cut off fluids about 2 hours before bed, but make sure you're well hydrated earlier in the day. Herbal teas, broths, and water-rich foods, like cucumbers or watermelon, count too. Mistake number 7, ignoring medication side effects. This is so important, yet so often overlooked. Many common medications, blood pressure pills, sleep aids, even some allergy medications, can cause dizziness or balance issues as side effects. You might have been taking a medication for years without problems, but as your body changes, the way it reacts to medications can change too. What to do? Make a list of all your medications, including over-the-counter. Next time you see your doctor or pharmacist, ask, "Could any of these affect my balance?" Never stop a medication on your own, but do speak up if you notice new dizziness. Sometimes a simple adjustment, like taking a medication at night instead of morning, or switching to a different formulation, can make all the difference. Now, I want to pause here because these last 2 mistakes we've covered, hydration and medications, are perfect examples of how balance isn't just about your body's mechanics. It's about the whole system working together. And that brings us to our next point, which might be the most overlooked factor of all. But let's save that for next time. For now, why not try the posture exercise against the wall? Or take a look at your water intake today. Maybe fill up a glass as you're reading this. Small steps, big results. And when you're ready, we'll tackle that final, surprising mistake that could be affecting your balance more than you realize. You've probably heard the saying, "It's the little things that matter most." Well, when it comes to maintaining your balance as you get older, that couldn't be more true. We've covered some surprising mistakes that can sneak up on us, from neglecting our posture to underestimating how medications affect us. But there's one last piece of the puzzle we need to talk about, and it's something most people never connect to their balance at all. Mistake number 8, skipping regular eye checkups. Here's something you might not realize. Your eyes are constantly sending signals to your brain about where you are in space. When your vision isn't sharp, whether from outdated glasses prescriptions, cataracts, or other age-related changes, those signals get fuzzy. Your brain has to work harder to interpret them, and that extra processing time can throw off your balance just enough to make you feel unsteady. Think about walking through a dimly lit room or dealing with glare from bright lights. If you've ever hesitated in those situations, that's your balance system struggling to compensate for what your eyes can't clearly see. The solution? Make vision care a priority. Get your eyes checked annually, even if you think your prescription hasn't changed. And pay attention to lighting in your home. Adding night lights in hallways or brighter bulbs in frequently used areas can make a world of difference. Mistake number 9, not giving yourself enough recovery time. Remember when you could stay on your feet all day without a second thought? As we age, our bodies need more time to recover after physical activity, and that includes the micro-recovery from everyday movements. Pushing through fatigue might seem tough, but it actually increases your risk of losing balance when your muscles are tired. The fix is simple: listen to your body. If you've been gardening or walking for a while, sit down before you feel exhausted. When standing up from sitting, pause for a second to let your blood pressure adjust. These small moments of recovery help your body reset and stay steady. Putting it all together. Now that we've covered all 5 key mistakes, here's the beautiful part: fixing them doesn't require drastic changes. It's about small, consistent adjustments that add up to big improvements in how you feel every day. Let's quickly recap. Keep your muscles strong with simple daily movements. Wear supportive shoes and pay attention to how you walk. Train your balance system beyond just relying on vision. Maintain good posture to keep your center of gravity aligned. Stay hydrated and review medications with your doctor. Keep your eyes checked and your home well lit. Allow yourself proper recovery time between activities. The most important thing to remember? You have more control over your balance than you might think. Every time you choose to sit up straight, take an extra sip of water, or do that quick balance exercise by the kitchen counter, you're investing in your ability to move through life with confidence. I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these factors affecting your balance? Maybe you've already made some changes that helped. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps others discover this information. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos full of practical tips for thriving at any age. Here's to standing tall, moving with confidence, and enjoying every step of your journey. Remember, age isn't about limitation, it's about living smart. Now go show the world what steady really looks like.